For women, it's not the weather being frightful that scares us. It's the stress of the holiday season and our never ending to do list that really keeps us awake at night, quite literally. Thankfully, Andrea Donsky is joining me today on behalf of New Roots Herbal with some real solutions to reduce our stress, and we're not going to waste any time getting into it. Andrea, welcome back to What She Said.
Thank you for having me. I love being here.
So let's start with some simple changes we can make to our daily routines right now to sort of ease that holiday pressure.
I think the biggest takeaways are a few things. Number one, being organized, right? Because I find that when I'm organized and I write it down and I see what I need to do, and that's another thing is writing things down. We're like, okay, it makes it less daunting. So it's in front of us. We're able to like take notes. I'm like, okay, cross it off our list. It's nice when we actually put the lines through it. So for me, that's one, organization. And then also setting boundaries, learning how to say no, because as women, we tend to want to do a lot. I mean, I'll talk for myself. I tend to want to do a lot and help everybody. But at the end of the day, we really need to set boundaries and say yes to things we can do and say no to things that we just don't have time to do. And I think that's an important message for all of us, especially as we're going into this time of year.
It really is because again, I feel like a broken record saying this, but we still carry all of our everyday regular stresses with us into December.
Yeah.
But then we pile on everything else because as women, we tend to want to run around and make the season magical.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those boundaries are super important. So let's talk about sort of maybe I find meditation very helpful. It always
Mm.
brings me right back into the moment. But do you have a relaxation trick or mindfulness technique that you use?
Yeah, so something I do. So my daughter, she's 12 and she plays rep basketball. And one of the things that I started doing for them, because the kids were super nervous before they would go out and play. And we started doing breathing techniques. So one of the things that I saw that has amazing research on it, and I do this myself, and I guess just to start is just remember to breathe because so many of us are not breathing. We breathe shallow, right? So just remembering to breathe where you're sticking your stomach out when you're breathing in and your stomach in when you're breathing out. So one of the techniques that I love that I'm using on these kids, and it works so well because when we do it, they start yawning. So I'm like, yep, there we go. That's stimulating the parasympathetic part of our nervous system, which helps us to relax. So we can do it together even. So you take 2 breaths in. So you go through your nose, 2 breaths in, then take a third breath in, and then out for 6. And then do that a few times and just doing it through your nose. So in one more time, and then out for 6 and count it out in your head. And then you'll see your body's going to start to relax. Your shoulders go down and you just you feel that sympathetic being stimulated. And that just helps you to like, okay. The other thing you could do too, and I just recently did a City Line segment on this, where you could take some essential oils, put it on your fingers, 2 fingers, and then rub them behind your ear and go in circular motions up your ear and down your neck. And again, that's going to help to stimulate your nerve endings. It's also going to stimulate the parasympathetic part of your nervous system. Rub them together, breathe them in. Essential oils have terpenes that also can help us to relax.
Oh, I love that. Honestly, I do a restorative yoga class every week, and the instructor walks around at the end of the class, and she does that over us while we're lying there in our corpse pose. She does like essential oils over us
So
as we're
good.
lying. It is so relaxing. It's beautiful.
So good.
Here's the big one though. It's sleep. This is, I think,
Oh.
something either we're burning the candle at both ends, or we're so stressed out we can't sleep. So, what are some tips there?
Okay, so this is one of my favorite things to talk about. I actually have sleep technology, so I'm obsessed with sleep, especially for women, older women over 40, over 35, over 40. So something that I'm a very big fan of is having a sleep routine, is making sure that every day I'm making sleep a priority because for many of us, and even me included, I did not make sleep a priority for so long. And now I'm like, okay, I need to be in bed between 10 and 11. And it's become this nightly thing that if I'm not in bed by 10 or 11, I'm like, okay, I know it's going to mess up my sleep score. So going to bed before 11 is important. Why? Because we get more deep sleep the earlier we go to bed. Deep sleep is the restorative sleep. So really important making it a priority. Making sure your room is cold, 65 to 68 degrees. Because if your room's hot, you're going to be hot and it's going to wake you up. The other thing you want to do is make sure your room is dark. When it's dark, our body can release melatonin. Now, the older we get, the less melatonin our body produces. Actually, there was this doctor who came up with the term melatonopause because when we're in our 50s, our bodies they're not making melatonin the way it did when we were younger. And in some cases, we're not making it at all. So really making sure that you're if you're going to go to bed and you're still on the younger side and your body's making or producing that endogenous melatonin, you can wear blue blocking glasses so you don't have technology on, because the blue light will actually stop that production. But then also you could take something like melatonin. I'm a big fan of taking melatonin as we age, because melatonin helps us to fall asleep and stay asleep.
And is there a certain time of the day you should take melatonin then? Is that like an evening thing?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So if you want it to help you sleep, then you take it before bed, 30 minutes, 40 minutes before bed.
Okay. Can we talk about adaptogens for
Yeah.
a couple of minutes? I hear a lot about that
Sure.
right now. Do they help with stress levels?
So adaptogens or known as adaptogenic herbs, help our body cope better with stress. So they're a great band-aid when you're stressed. So adaptogens include like Tulsi or holy basil. That's probably my favorite, one of my favorite adaptogens. It helps. It's so high in antioxidants, and it also helps our body cope better with stress. But also, it's great for our immune system. So you want to look for, if you're going to get holy basil, you can get it in a tea, by the way, but you can also get it as a supplement. You want to look for one that has 10% ursolic acid, which is actually what gives it its benefits. So you want to look for the type. So when you're going to buy it as a supplement, you want to make sure you're buying the right one. The other adaptogens, I love functional mushrooms. I'm a big fan of mushrooms. You probably heard chaga, reishi, all of those are amazing because, again, they help to support our immune system. And then I also like ashwagandha. Some people love it. Some people can't take it because it's a nightshade. So really, you have to listen to your body. But you want to look for one that has 5% withanolides. That's actually the ingredient that helps our body and makes it so good.
Okay, so we're going to combine these supplements with some lifestyle changes like boundaries and getting sleep. How do we make sure this all works together for us? Is time of day matter? Does taking it with food matter? Anything you have to offer on this in this regard?
Yeah. So again, taking it with food or not, that is dependent on the supplement you're taking. So you always want to make sure you read the label, read the bottle, so that you are taking it properly. Time of day, how much to take, and as well as, do you take it with or without food, empty stomach or not. Um, the key is consistency. The key is really it's making so focusing. I always say my lane is nutrition, lifestyle, and supplements. So it's not just one thing. It really is a synergistic blend of things that work together synergistically to make it work so well. So that's kind of my mantra, is just look at things not in a silo, but rather as a synergistic blend, and being consistent. That's the key too, right? So if you're going to take a supplement, you take it once, you can't, you have to do it on a regular basis, because in Canada, in order for companies to get NPNs, which are natural product numbers, they actually base it on research. And the research is based on taking it in specific doses and specific amounts. So you really, again, want to follow the recommendations on the label in terms of how to take it, especially when it comes to
Actually,
supplements.
you bring up an interesting point actually too, because I think what happens is, we hit December, we're really stressed, we're starting to look for solutions. This really is a long-term game, right? Something we should be sort of
100%.
focusing on year round.
Absolutely, all the time. It's not just for this time of the year; it's for all the time, right? This should be part of our daily routine, our daily way of doing things. So, yes, great point.
And you've mentioned a lot of really specific ingredients today. That reduce stress levels. But we this is obviously sponsored by New Roots Herbal, and you recently had an opportunity to go to their factory. I am going soon as well for a tour. But tell me what you found out when you were there.
Oh, I loved it. First of all, it was awesome. Yes, I work with them, and I think they're an amazing company. Peter, their owner, the man who created it all, is really particular about quality and science, which is what I really love about them too. I had a tour of their lab, which was incredible. I mean, everything they do is tested. Everything they do is based on research, which I really love as well. And it's all about quality. So you could trust them. So for me, I'm very big on making sure you know who's behind the brand, right? Do you have access to the people behind the brand? And I've had access to them, and I understand the way they work, and I understand what their values are. And yeah, I'm a big fan.
All right, excellent. Andrea, thank you so much for joining me today. Any last words for anybody as we close out this interview?
Happy holidays, and I hope you have a stress-free or less stressful holidays. And happy New Year as well.
All right. Thank you, Andrea. We'll have you back soon.
Thank you.